Inconceivable. 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 Inconceivable.
Welcome to Inconceivable. I'm William.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Wesley.
And we are your Revengers.
I don't think that's a very good name.
Yeah, well, it's a quote, so whatever. I don't care.
Well, so was mine.
What was your quote? No.
Clearly. Anywho, let's move on from
Are
that.
you talking about the quote from last time?
Just like to say, you guys saw Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I haven't jumped on that yet.
You have to watch it. It's really good.
I know.
Get on that. So we'll talk about it probably next episode.
Yeah, that could be something.
Yeah,
we do in the future.
We have a lot of good stuff coming up though, because there's
there is
Punisher,
a lot of good
there's
stuff.
Thor. I know there's something else I just don't remember. Oh yeah, Star Wars. But
Star
we'll talk about
Did you
that
already
later.
say Punisher?
I already said Punisher. Yeah,
Okay,
of course.
because on that same day, Star Wars Battlefront 2,
Which we already talked about.
we did,
The Star
but
Yeah.
it's coming.
And also let's not forget Justice League.
And
'cause
Justice
that's coming
League.
This month. This month is going to be crazy.
So crazy.
You guys are going to get a review on Justice League from me.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
probably
be
going to
disappointed
see
if
it
wasn't
3
you.
or 4 times this weekend, or the weekend that it comes out.
All right.
Who wants to start?
I can start if you guys want.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So Wesley and I
Gary.
watched what?
Gary's crying.
Oh yeah, we're gonna flip Gary the
Gary.
Time Goblin.
I'm sorry. We have to flip Gary
Poor
first.
Gary, he was just left ignored.
There,
Excuse me.
He's all set now.
All right. So
He's not going to forgive you for that.
well, he's a time.
He's
thing.
a time goblin. I'm
I don't
not worried
care.
about his forgiveness.
I'm not worried about a goblin. So yeah, we watched Stranger Things 2, Wesley and I, a little while back, and I wanted to talk about that.
I also watched it.
You watched some of it, but then again,
watched most
Yeah,
of it.
but Alex
watched-
and I binge watched the
No, I know.
whole
watched
thing.
it on a Saturday.
Saturday was our day
I watched
for that.
I watched
We watched-
75% of it, including the ending, so that's
Yes.
good enough. I'm going to go back and rewatch both seasons together at some point, but I have the gist of the
Yes,
story.
you
Yeah,
should do
because
that.
you have not seen all of season 1. You've barely
No.
seen any of season 1.
I would just like to say William was a huge player in our Stranger Things experience. He made us waffles
Oh,
That's
that's
while we
true.
watched,
We did not have any waffles at the time, and I did not want to go out and buy anything.
and we coerced dear William to make us
They were
pumpkin waffles.
pumpkin waffles.
Pumpkin
they were
waffles.
good.
It was delicious, and
Anyway.
it felt right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt right.
It did. It felt right.
It was appropriate. Yeah, so Stranger Things 2, I feel like I've been waiting for this for a while, because originally when the first season of Stranger Things was coming out, I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't expecting that I would like it as much as I did. And after watching it, I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, this is amazing. It's nostalgic, and it's like a darker version of E.T. or whatever. And it was just really, really cool, and I wanted to get more of that. And they certainly deliver in this season, because it's all the 80s nostalgia. It is the feel that you got from the first season. There's a much darker tone, and you get a lot more character development for the characters. And it was really cool. And Sean Astin was in it, the guy who played Sam in Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay.
did not know that was going to happen. I didn't
Okay,
know.
so you want to know something crazy?
Sure.
Is that literally today, my mom, who was talking to me about Stranger Things, told me that. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah,
Dude,
it's from Lord of the
But
Rings.
you
So, like,
watched them.
You
You watched
saw
it with
Bob.
us.
You know who
my
Bob
mind was blown. So, like,
How?
I watched it, right? And I saw that actor. I'm like, yo, he's so familiar, but I just thought he was in some
We
random
literally
movies
said
that
it.
Yeah.
We said it so many times.
over my head. Never, like, I don't understand how that kind of character could just be like...
I don't either, William. What
do you
what's
mean?
up?
So- Explain.
Not only that, but he's also in the Goonies, which I never knew. So I had both of those revelations back to back, and like, I didn't know what to do. I felt stupid for not knowing that he was in.
Actually, the creators, the Duffer Brothers who created Stranger Things, they were hesitant at first to hire him because he was in the Goonies.
Right, and
so
it's
they were wondering
similar,
like how is that going to affect this, and are people just going to see like the kid from the Goonies and be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's in another
No
movie or
he's a
TV show
completely
like
different
that.
person now.
He is. I haven't seen the Goonies.
Well, we
No,
need to fix that.
I guess
That's a
so.
problem.
I know.
Alex.
It's a classic.
I didn't realize he was
I
in the
understand
Goonies.
how you haven't seen it though. It's a bit.
It's like a cult classic.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's been talked about in a while.
No.
So,
Yeah.
but I
It's out of
watched
it's
it a
been out-
couple times when
It's
I was
been
in
on the
high school.
limelight for a while, but
Yeah.
yeah, when I was growing up, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's kind of definitely faded off.
Yeah. That was a thing that came back when we were younger, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
If we're going to discuss spoilers, though, we should say so
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Spoilers, just so you guys know. This is a warning, because we're going to be going in depth. If you haven't seen Stranger Things 2,
It's all out.
Pause.
Go watch it.
Watch it. Come back.
yeah, seriously. But yeah, Bob, let's face it, right from the start, we knew that he wasn't going to last.
was too
Alex and I
nice.
pinned it from the first
He was
episode you
way
saw
too
him in. We were
nice.
just like, we're going to get attached to him, and he's going to die.
He's a very sweet guy. He's a very oblivious guy. He's not in the loop. He's not in the... He's a main character, quote unquote.
Well, not only that, but hiring somebody like Sean Astin to play a role in your show
It's a pretty big deal.
it's a big deal. I mean, people know who he is. That alone, casting him was just asking that's one of the things that gave it away for me. It was like, I really don't see
Something
him
like they
being a
casted Boromir.
season regular.
Oh, man.
Like every season, something's gonna happen.
Yeah. It was also really cool that they had a lot more of characters that we didn't get to see a lot of in the previous season, like Will Byers, because we only saw him in like 2 or 3
Yeah.
scenes.
It was nice to
And
see him.
they actually gave him stuff to do, and things happened because of him.
Got some
And it was
exorcism
really cool.
stuff going
It
on.
was really dark. Like, let's face it, this season was a lot darker than the first one. I thought the first one was
yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
rough to watch, but this one, it just took it to a whole nother level, including Bob's death. That was dark and unavoidable.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely avoidable. That was like, how about we not have
Avoidable
one of
in
those?
the show, but outside the show, you knew it was like,
Yeah,
there's
we knew
no
he
way
was going to
he's gonna
die,
survive.
but the manner of his death was totally avoidable.
What did you think of what you saw, Will? Because you haven't seen the first season, so did you?
I saw a few episodes of the first season when you were watching it,
Okay.
specifically towards the end. And I watched probably 75% of season 2 because you guys were binging it, and like I started watching it when I like made you guys waffles, and then I skipped out to do some work, and then I came back. So I missed like some of the middle bit, but then came back and like watched all of the end. It's like the last 5 episodes, and
There's only 9 episodes. Was it 9 or 13? There's 9, right?
9.
Yeah, so I only
9.
missed like 2 or 3 episodes.
I
being in
believe
the
there were
middle.
8 or 9 for the first season.
So,
Well, you didn't see the first 2 episodes though.
no, I definitely saw those. Yeah.
No, you didn't, because we watched it the day before. We both watched the 2
Oh,
first
that's right.
episodes.
No, but he caught me watching.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you watch both of them with me?
Well, because I remember
'Cause I
seeing the
watched
whole
them
bit
that
with
night.
them dressing up as the Ghostbusters, and that
That's
was
right. That was
yeah.
the second episode, I think.
Yeah, so William at least caught the second episode with me.
Yeah,
the night
and
before.
So I'm fairly familiar with it. I'm going to be hazy with the details, but I have the whole gist of the whole story
Yeah, you
and the
understand
major
what
plot
happened.
points. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and like the reason why it's like I couldn't not watch it. It was like I would watch just a little bit, and then I'm like, I shouldn't be watching this in this pace, but I'm going to do it anyways because it's just so good, and I couldn't not watch it.
It's really, really
And you guys were
good.
binging it all day, and I would just have to banter myself to my bedroom all day if I wanted to avoid that.
And I think just lack of time is why you haven't watched it yet, because
No,
it's
that's
definitely
exactly-
it's definitely something you like.
It's,
Yeah,
to
you would have
binge it,
liked.
basically.
Yeah, and I'm definitely towards the winter. I'll have a lot more time to do that stuff. I have a huge list of stuff I need to binge, that being one of them. And I'm looking forward to it now because I really enjoyed season 2.
Yeah, filling in the blanks will be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and getting a little bit more backstory with season 1. But I didn't feel too lost, honestly. I kind of like had, because I watched the last episodes of season 1, I understood the heaviest plot points.
The
Yeah.
gist,
Yeah. So I understand like the stakes they were up for and how like obviously things are not exactly normal in Stranger Things.
In Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk? Yeah. So someone having a little bit like of a different perspective on it, I thought it was just like so cool and unique, and it definitely had like a Goonies vibe to it, which I really loved, but a really high production value.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think they used mostly practical effects for the first season. They had to do a
They
lot
did.
more
It was.
CG
They
in
said
this
it was
one,
50-50 practical.
which is pretty impressive nowadays.
Like 50% practical, 50% otherwise. But yeah, they had to go a lot more on the computer spectrum for the second season.
It was one of those things also where I wouldn't say the story had me on edge all the time, but I also couldn't like stop watching. I'd be like, I would think to myself that I'm not like totally immersed or anything like that. but then I'd tell myself to leave, and I couldn't leave. So it's like, I still have to know what happens, you know? I just, like, with everything that's going on, the stakes are really high, and a show never really gave you a break to just kind of be like, okay, I can walk away for a little bit and have my conscience at ease. Stranger Things is definitely, don't follow by my example, best watching all at once.
It's really good when a TV show hooks you, not just at the beginning, but in the middle where you don't even know what's going on, because a lot of the time I'll come in, you guys will be watching something and I'll see a little bit of it, but I'm not really hooked, because I need to actually have the the story in my brain. I need to know what's going on, what's happening exactly. But yeah, they had a lot of new characters in this one too. They had they had Mad Max, I guess, the redhead. That was an interesting dynamic for the kids in this one. Because at first it was just 11, like the one girl who they interacted with, but this one, she brings a lot of new stuff to it.
I was very happy to see that addition.
Yeah. And also the guy who he plays, was it the Red Power Ranger in the new movie?
Yeah,
he was in this, and we didn't even realize it until
I didn't realize until the end, and then once it clicked, I was like, that's so cool.
He looks so familiar, and it was cool to see like a new baddie in town, like the guy who's taking over the reins of being king of the high school.
I was a huge fan of the new Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
I loved it. And so, like, to see him in Stranger Things, I was like, okay, that's two cool things you've been in now. Like,
and you kind of just set, you know?
Yeah, you're set. Like,
I never grew up on Power Rangers, but I did enjoy the movie.
I grew up not being allowed to watch Power Rangers.
Why?
And rediscovered it as a teenager. And then,
how was that for you?
And then watched it again, like, last year when it was popular again. So,
you're a latecomer to the game.
I'm a little bit, because when Power Rangers SPD was brand new, that's when I was watching it.
Okay.
So that was like the cop, like, militarized version of it, and that's
So
still my favorite today.
Do you think that made you like the character a whole lot more afterwards? Because we didn't really know
know it
was him originally when we were watching it.
Not only that though, but like, other than the fact that he's a complete jerk, I was drawn to the character because he liked the 80s rock music. So, like...
Yeah, he definitely had a great way to...
He liked the 80s rock music, and he had a cool car, and I was just like, you know what, you're a jerk, but you're cool.
But you're so cool, and
but
it's not
cool.
fair.
Yeah.
Even with that 80s haircut, I was like,
some
people can rock it, I can't.
If I was in the 80s, I would... I'm not saying I'd have a haircut like that, but, like, if it's cool, then... You know, so... They
definitely got the...
He wore a wig.
Yeah, he did. I didn't realize. Well, I guess they do really well in the art department, or not art, the makeup department, that sort of thing.
Steve, however...
Steps up in this.
His hair. And I was just going to say, Hopper and Dustin were easily my favorite characters for Season 1. I add Steve to that mix for Season 2. I love Steve.
I absolutely hated Steve in Season 1. I thought he was a jerk. I thought that he was annoying and just like such a whiny guy.
I didn't really care about him either, but once he got together with Dustin...
Season 2, he really steps up.
The buddy between Dustin and Steven is awesome.
Once he's not with Nancy, I just thought he got a whole lot better. And he actually tries. Like, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what... He had an idea of what he wanted to do for life. Like, he just wanted to have a cookie-cutter life, and then it just changed everything. Him and Dustin, that was fantastic.
Speaking of Dustin, the most frustrating, like, the part where I was, and, like, you guys know as we were watching this, the most, like, infuriating part to me was at the very last episode when Dustin showing off his new moves at the dance, and no one wants to dance with them. And I'm like, I swear, if this kid doesn't dance with somebody, I'm gonna flip some table. I'm gonna flip this coffee table right now. Like,
he's so cute. How can nobody dance with him?
I was like, oh, look at Dustin, he's so cute. And then everyone's laughing. I'm like, no, that's like, no,
it's not fair.
I was so mad.
I didn't originally care for Dustin that much in the first season.
I love Dustin.
No, I really like him in this one. He's a lot better.
I loved him. Like, he was
not.
Him and Hopper, my favorite characters, hands down, for Season 1. I love Dustin.
I don't know how...
Hopper's just cool.
I don't know how I felt about Hopper in this one, though, because he seemed to be a lot more of a jerk, I guess. Just... He was trying to...
I think Hopper's role was more fun in the first season.
Yeah, I guess he had to take on the father role in this one, but he didn't do an amazing job with it. He's protecting the super powered girl.
Obviously, yeah.
That's gonna be rough. Not gonna lie. And
However, he did do a great job of figuring stuff out, though.
to his credit, yeah, he did very well
After
with
then
what he had.
getting trapped, you know.
Let's eat gigantic piles of carbs to
Oh,
hide our feelings.
yeah, well, him getting
Waffles and
him getting
chocolate and
no, I don't want to think about that. It sounds nasty.
great fatherly,
So good. He's a
skills.
perfect father figure.
wonderful. Just
But him getting trapped in the tunnels, that was pretty freaky, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I thought he
that's
was-
when
I honestly, as soon as that happened and you lost consciousness, like, oh, he did. Like,
it was shortly after that happened that you and me were like, this is a lot darker than last
Oh, yeah.
season. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't the point, but it was like that led up to things where we were considering. Yeah, this might be.
A lot. Not that we can't handle dark
No,
TV
no.
shows. I'm a man. I can take it. It's cool.
Yeah, you're a man. You watch The Flash, and I'm just
Not as
kidding.
much nowadays. I watch The Walking Dead now, huh?
Yeah.
I thought, what's her name? Not Nancy. Nancy's friend, Barb. I thought she was coming back in this season.
Nope,
Didn't
she did.
I
I
honestly
knew
thought
she was
coming-
dead. In fact, I was like, if they bring her back,
It's a cop out.
if they bring her back, it wouldn't be right because you see her, she's gone, she's dead. Like you see it in the first season.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we saw it.
Mhm.
But it was nice that they actually had her in the story, even if her character wasn't there
That's true.
specifically.
Yeah.
Because it felt like they basically forgot about her in the first season, and everyone was just really annoyed with that. All the
Justice
fans were
for
like,
Barb.
"What is wrong with, like, why can't you guys think about Barb?" And they definitely brought it back up. In this
I
one.
thought that scene with the, I forget his name, but the random guy who was drinking.
Oh, you're talking about the special investigator.
Yeah.
Like private
I
investigator.
love that part. That was great.
That
I
got
enjoyed that.
better.
Early.
How was the pullout?
Oh my
the
word.
couch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pullout couch.
I did not get that originally.
That's okay.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, so wait, what was the cat's name?
What cat?
Their cat. The one that gets eaten.
Oh, the one that gets eaten?
What's
Oh.
the name of the cat?
There was the name for that cat for
There's
sure.
the name
I
of the cat.
don't know. I
Dang it.
don't really
I
care.
was a little
Well,
upset by
justice
that.
for that cat, okay?
Oh, come on.
There's a trending
Season 3.
hashtag.
We got justice for Barb. We get justice for the cat.
What
Season
about
3.
justice for Bob though?
Justice for the cat.
He was doing so good. He was like run. He,
Justice for Bob.
They should
All
have seen
he-
it coming though.
he should have seen it. You don't. Okay, if you're getting chased by demodogs and they've been eating people and you've seen that with your own eyes and you stop to take a moment and smile at your girlfriend, don't do that.
Yeah, like
you
I said,
will
totally
die.
avoidable.
Just book it, grab her, and run out. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the first time he's worked with
Ways
Winona
to
Ryder, though,
die.
you know?
He pulled a Sean Bean. It was
Oh,
not
it's
okay.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, no
He
kidding.
took some lessons from Boromir.
Yeah, how much is he like Sean Bean now?
It's pretty cool that they had the Ghostbusters in it, basically. Like,
Yeah.
it seemed like that was a pretty
That
big
was
part.
perfect for them.
I really liked seeing, like, I know that they weren't cosplayers, but they're basically cosplayers. And they,
Cosplayers in
Your
training.
cosplay heart just grew 3
I
times.
know, and I
Like,
felt,
watch
I
it when you
definitely-
saw that
I
part.
definitely felt for them when they went to school and there's like, why is nobody else dressed up? And I'm like, I
Ooh.
understand it because non-cosplayers will see you and think, wow, you're such nerds, and
Mm-hmm.
you like you want to be proud of like what you've done and like, you know, your cool costume and stuff. But when people are looking down on you, it's rough.
I think it's always like the worst if you are in cosplay and you're going to the con.
you
in
have
the
to
vehicle.
get to the con.
Yeah, you have to get to the car. So most likely you're not close to the con. So
Yeah.
So you're just like out on your street, you're like booking it to the car in your costume. It's like nobody see me, especially because since it's usually your neighbors and stuff like that. They're like,
Oh my goodness. When
it's
we're walking out
weirdos
to
in
the
apartment,
car,
4B. You know,
When they see me walking out with all my wooden weapons and my foam armor, they're just probably like, what is this guy doing?
I think it's the worst when it's just like crazy wigs. That's the
Well,
part
that's
that
you
You
always-
guys have a lot of those.
I only
Yeah.
have two.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking. I have a blonde wig and a blue wig.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Stranger Things, what do you think of the new villain? I guess like it was like a shadow monster. I guess because the Demogorgon in the first
Mind Flayer.
one. Sure. Yeah. Well, the Demogorgon in the first season, you understood it. It was a monster. It was like hunting them. You got it. But in this one, it seemed like it was a bit more, I guess, difficult to understand.
the only way to go is up. If you're going to continue a story, things just get
Or
bigger.
Stranger Things down.
Upside
down.
But they just get bigger. So that was
But also,
the natural.
speaking of that, they didn't really
progression.
tap into that exactly. We
What do
felt
you
like
mean?
we were going to get into that. They figured out a temporary solution, but honestly, when it comes to the big picture of that villain, that like they haven't even come close to like.
That's
They,
true.
no,
It's
they,
still there.
They haven't encountered it a whole lot.
So unlike for season 1, where we have like a more concise ending as far as that battle goes, this puts it just like, we've only like hardly made.
That's
a
the
scratch.
thing, though.
Based
That's
on
the
that
thing,
battle.
though, is their battle with the Demogorgon in season 1 comes to a definite end, but then they have a ginormous cliffhanger with the fact that Will is still connected to the Upside Down. On the flip side of that, season 2 ends where they've barely encountered the new villain, yet there's
It felt like
no
closure.
cliffhanger,
Right,
yeah.
almost.
It's more of just
It's
like
okay, he's there, cool,
It was an
whatever.
It felt like an afterthought because they
Yeah.
wrapped it up really nicely. All the kids
They
are dancing.
filmed that part first. That was one of the first parts they filmed.
The
in whole
dance?
yes.
wow.
The snowball was one of the first parts they filmed for
Is
the
that
whole
like
series.
for all the characters then? Because that's
For
what-
most of them, Steve's first scene was when they visit Barb's parents.
So
Because we were watching Beyond Stranger Things,
that-
and I was
was that
getting
the
some
first? So was that the first scene that Lucas, the actor Lucas, and the actress for Max like got together and like actually interacted and stuff? Because
I
they had
think
a
so.
they had a kissing scene
I
in
think
that.
so.
That must have been rough.
They
to
weren't
be the-
originally
the
supposed
first
to
scene.
kiss.
Yeah, well, I think they like dared him or something.
yeah.
It wasn't originally in the script, but that was pretty interesting. Like,
Or the snowball was at least one of the first ideas they had for
They
the
did
script, and I think it is. I think parts of it at least were. Those were some of the first parts they filmed for the series.
did you guys feel bad at all for Dustin when he was trying to go after Max and Lucas just like got her instead?
Yeah.
It seemed like he wasn't gonna get her for some reason. Maybe.
I'm
Well, no, it
I'm
was-
a big Dustin fanboy,
Well,
so I feel for him
I
in
think
like
it was
every.
because it was tough because we were in the position where we could see the big picture of the dynamics going between all three of those characters.
Right.
When Dustin doesn't see the other stuff that's going on, so it's almost like I don't feel bad for Dustin not getting Max. I feel bad that he just didn't see it happening sooner. If that makes more sense, you know, just like, oh, Dustin, you're so out of the loop right now. Oh,
Yeah.
buddy,
Such a sweet kid.
That
You're
was-
so awkward.
that was the problem. I didn't think that Dustin and Max were like destined to be. I think
No.
the other two are just
I
fine.
don't think
I didn't really
like,
see it happening with
any of
Max and Lucas. Actually,
I didn't see it happening with any of them.
I guess that was like
But-
okay. I guess that's a thing.
Cool plot, whatever.
But
cool.
the thing that I didn't like about Dustin though is that he did have a lot of dumb moments, like him and Dart. He should have realized that you do not keep a sketchy.
Although I really
alien
like the
thing.
stylistic choice for that.
What do you mean?
A Three Musketeers reference is very cool.
That is
Calling
cool.
the Monster D'Artagnan was very cool.
It's nice how they
I
find
really liked
names for
that.
all the upside down
I
creatures.
will say though, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, or if just neither. As soon as they figured out that the Dart was a demigorgon, or
Dog.
Demidog, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, sometime later in the series, that's gonna come into play.
Yeah.
Where I can connect to this specific demigorgon.
typical connecting to the animal trope.
Yeah, I
uh-huh.
saw that coming,
And they-
and
They pulled a Jurassic World with that one. 'Cause you guys saw the movie, right? Jurassic World.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually saw
Remember
it in years.
the
Saw it at a
Velociraptor?
drive-in.
Remember the Velociraptor?
That's not a great choice.
The one that's
Ah.
called Blue.
Because it's like you feel like you're in
Guys.
one of the vehicles. Where,
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, that's not a great idea.
I think it was fun.
Yeah, anyways, continue.
Sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
So you guys remember the Velociraptor Blue that interacted with Chris Pratt's character?
Vaguely.
Yeah. So that one
yeah.
switches sides, and then eventually there's still that link between the raptor. And,
link.
I guess so. It's
They love each other.
So
what?
all I'm gonna say is that I'm glad that it wasn't bigger of a deal than they made it. It was just a small roadblock
Yeah.
that was able to fix because of that symbol trope, whatever. I just the show is really smart. And I was almost just a little bit disappointed to see such a typical trope with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also had a love triangle in it too, and I've seen more
But,
than my fair share of that in TV shows and movies.
But I will say that I like the outcome of it. So in the end, it's kind of a mute point because then I really actually like Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, I actually really like Steve now.
Baseball bat guy.
Because
was-
of that, how that all happened. So
I did not like that Nancy was with Steve by the end of season 1, and I still didn't think that they were good together, but I feel like she could have had a better way to end it with Steve and get with Jonathan than the way it happened.
Right.
Because I felt really bad for Steve, which was surprising considering I hated his guts in the first one.
The inclusion of new characters was one of my favorite parts
Yeah.
of this season, actually.
The
I'm glad that they expanded.
The new Doctor, he was actually more likable than the old one, which is not hard to do, but you saw that he wasn't exactly a bad guy. He was just trying to figure stuff out, and I like that. And I know we're out of time, but I also thought that 11 definitely, her character was, I guess, developed a lot more, and I really appreciated that. And she got a lot more powerful too. Yeah. And we also got to see different parts of the 80s too, like the punk rock people in the city and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, we're certainly not the only ones to talk about Stranger Things. I know for a fact that Nerd Caliber has talked about it on their video roundtable, which I was watching a little bit the other day. So feel free to check them out because they are one of our sponsors. Today's podcast is brought to you by Nerd Caliber. Since 2010, Nerd Caliber has been bringing you coverage of all sorts of things nerdy, both on its website, nerdcaliber.com, and its YouTube channel. They have everything from movie, TV, and game reviews to how-to articles and video to opinion and thought pieces on the topics of the day. But Nerd Caliber is best known for its convention coverage, and in particular, cosplay conventions. The website features a new photo gallery from recent cons nearly every day, and the YouTube channel has new video interviews, funny skits, cosplay showcase compilations multiple times a week. Ugh. In addition, Nerd Caliber has added new regular features like its weekly Nerd News Video Roundtable live on Facebook at 8 p.m. each Wednesday evening. New to the website is the gaming news roundup called Patch Notes, and on YouTube, the Cosplay Creator Interview series Behind the Scenes, moderated by award-winning master cosplayer Lucky Grimm. Check out Nerd Caliber on the web and on YouTube or on Facebook for tons of nerdy fun and for all things Stranger Things.
You gotta love Nerd Caliber.
Absolutely.
They're so great. I know we say it every time, but they're just so
It's
fun.
true. It's
Hashtag
true.
Nerd Caliber love.
You can make that hashtag. Who's gonna go next?
I will. I don't mind.
All right.
If that's all right.
Yeah,
So what do you
go
got?
for it.
All right. So
What's the discussion?
let's talk about The Walking Dead.
Oh boy.
New season out. There's 2 episodes.
New season
right?
out. Yeah.
Speaking of Bob,
Yeah. Alexander and I have created a ritual. We watch The Walking Dead every Monday morning.
We watched it twice, but
Yeah.
okay.
It's a ritual. It's happening. We're
It's
going.
happening.
Wesley
we're going
wants
through
this
with
to
that.
happen. I
It
guess
is.
it's gonna happen.
Yes.
All right.
Get what I want.
Okay.
Gary's feeling
Have
ignored
our-
again.
have our-
Yeah, don't forget Gary.
Oh,
Goodness
not forgetting Gary,
gracious.
not cheating on my time. There we go.
That was good.
Cool.
Funny.
Yeah, but I want my bro moment. We can have our
So we can watch manly stuff like The Walking Dead together.
watch people smashing each other's brains in with baseball bats. And
We already watched that with Stranger Things. Well, I guess not really, considering he was smashing monsters. And yeah. So, what do you think
Yeah.
about? What do you think about the new season?
I like the new season. Actually, I'm. It's strange for me to see like a big battle going on.
For The Walking Dead?
Yeah, like
guess so.
everybody's just like gun-toting, like just spraying bullets around everywhere.
Yeah, because that hasn't really happened yet, right?
I mean, it's happened. It's happened before.
A couple times, but not on such a big a scale.
Yeah,
I
when the
think.
prison was invaded, things like that.
Yeah.
But this is definitely.
Those felt like mobs, though. These feel like actual armies and like people.
Yeah. It's just it's weird to see how far it's come from now since like the first couple of seasons.
Well, this is the 8th season,
It
right?
feels so different. Yeah.
It does feel different.
The show is a totally different beast now.
Yeah, well, Rick has certainly gone through a lot of character changes.
Mhm. Rick is one of my all-time favorite characters in any medium.
What's that?
I like how strongly convicted he is of things. He hasn't
Wait,
always.
what?
He hasn't. Oh yeah, he hasn't always been right.
No, that's
hear,
definitely true.
hear me out. He hasn't always been right, but he sticks to his guns.
He has to. It's The Walking Dead.
when it's all on the line, like at
Yeah,
the beginning of this season when Negan is threatening to cut off Carl's hand.
that was the end of last season, but sure.
Whatever.
No.
When it comes right down to it. No, that was the beginning of this
No,
season.
it was not.
Yes, because
because that's when Shiva jumps out and attacks the guy, and that's when everyone jumps.
That's one of the newer episodes.
That's one of the new episodes, but that was the end of last season.
Oh, that was season 7. You're right. Okay, so the first episode of season 7, when Negan is threatening to cut Carl's hand off. Mm-hmm. That's one of the many moments where you see Rick just like he's gonna give it all up for like.
It wasn't original.
Everybody he loves is more important than him.
Yeah,
and that's another thing that I respect about Rick.
Wait, so. Are you talking about the end of the season when he was gonna let Carl's hand be cut off because
I'm talking about the beginning of season 7?
Oh, the beginning of season after spoiler alert, people get their heads bashed in, aka Glenn.
After Glenn dies a horrific
that other
death,
guy,
but that
red hair man.
Yeah, but if that's still a spoiler for you, too bad because that was like a year ago.
Also, very not good at not being spoiler. That was everywhere.
That was everywhere. Dude. That was a GIF in 2 seconds.
It's true. I went on YouTube and that showed up, and I was like, I don't really want to know what happens. Oh, I guess I know what happens. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst kept spoilers in a long time. Honestly.
To be fair, they did very well at keeping that from fans and stuff, unless they had read the comic books, right?
Oh, I saw that coming a mile away. That has to happen. That's one of those things that they can't change.
It's a as Doctor Who would put it.
It's an unchangeable event in the time-space continuum. That's so the comics and the shows, they follow each other pretty closely. There's some parallels. Some characters from the show have taken over the roles from different characters in the comics.
Yeah.
So for example, Michonne is basically Andrea now.
I'm so glad that Andrea's not in the show anymore.
You would not feel that way. She is awesome in the comics. She's awesome. So in the show, Andrea dies end of season 3, I think.
Middle to end, yeah.
Or and you're okay with that because she sucks. Everybody hates her. She's a horrible character, but she's not like that in the comic books. She's so cool. It's like once they introduced Michonne became Michonne and Andrea. She started to take on traits from. Michonne of the show started to show characteristics of Andrea from the comic books, including her relationship with Rick. Because in the comic books, it's Andrea and Rick, and Carl likes her even so much that she calls her mom. So
that he calls her mom.
Yeah, Carl calls Andrea mom.
Okay.
Yeah. So things like that. They're parallel, but things are different. Just so that you can tell a unique story and still keep the fans on edge, kind of thing.
Now, Daryl isn't originally in the comic book.
Daryl and Merle are completely brand new. Because Daryl actually tried out for the role of Rick. And they decided he wasn't the right choice for that role, but they liked his tryout so much that I guess they just wrote a character for him.
And people loved it.
Yeah, obviously.
He's the biggest guy on
I would argue
I'm not a huge Daryl fan, actually. I think his character's pretty one-dimensional. I'm kind of had it with that tough guy character that just shows bouts of emotional outburst so that you still feel for him.
He's not always emotional. Mm-hmm. I think he did pretty good. But Willie,
Rick is hands down my favorite Walking Dead character.
I used to like him a lot, and now it's just he seems to go back and forth.
Who's your favorite character?
Who's my favorite character? Gosh.
Even if they're dead already, if...
That's rough. I like Daryl, and I also like Carl. Carl has gotten so much better in the later seasons. Yeah, I guess so. But I think he's had a very good character arc, because originally he was just a spoiled, bratty 10-year-old. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can call him spoiled because he was
Carl.
I think he had a really great character arc. I think that he grew up a lot. After season 3, it's he just stepped up in almost every way. Mm-hmm. He was not just someone who, a little kid they had to protect. He was someone who actually could have other people's back, and I really appreciate that because he's such a young character, but he just grows a ton. But what do you think about the show, Will? I know you don't really watch it.
Yeah, so zombie things aren't exactly my aren't super interesting to me, and then on top of that, I don't. People are gonna hate me for this. I don't think that Walking Dead is a very interesting zombie show. I think it's a very, I dare I say it's almost typical because it was one of the firsts in a way. And it's definitely not one of the first, but it's like one of the first mainstream zombie things because it's been around for a long time now. And I'm like, if something has zombies in it, it's got to be something that's really unique to really grab me. And what I mentioned to you this a few days ago, I think, where what I don't like about Walking Dead, because I've watched episodes here and there, I know kind of what's going on. I probably watched about 10 to 20 episodes total. Yeah. Just intermittent throughout the seasons. And what I don't like is that it's the same cycle over and over again, where they get a band of people together. They either have a nice place to live, to camp out, or they have a destination in mind. Either way, before they get to the end goal of either of those objectives, their group splinters. There's falling out. People die.
The black guy dies.
They find a new objective, and with new groups of people, and it's that over and over and over again. There has been very little talk about what actually to cure, like how to cure the zombies. It's more about just surviving, which is fine. But we're season 8 now, right?
Because ultimately the show is not about the zombies; it's about the people.
Right.
The creator Robert Kirkman has come out and said that he may never address the cure for the zombie outbreak.
The problem for me is that it's lacking direction. I'm just like, where is
the show show? Yes, I would argue very much not so for the comic books. They are. I won't spoil those because. I think you should read them, but
it just seems like its own show is making up its own predictability.
It is. No.
So like they're gonna find this new thing, and it seems like it's all great. They're gonna get there, and guess what? Yeah. It's not what they pictured at all. It's either a trap. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's
those are good points. The show, I actually like the show less now than I used to.
Right, because
I was a huge fan of it. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and then well,
because the thing is, it's not doing classic tropes. It's literally getting to the point where it's starting to, I'd say, go back on its third or fourth time now, cycling through its own methodology of story progression. So it's set its own. It's getting old because of its previous seasons. And they're not doing anything fresh to move things along.
I think they're banking too much on their popularity right now. And one thing that's bothered me is we got a bug in the room and it's bugging me.
You?
It's bugging me. One of my biggest issue with the series is there are not any characters left. There are not enough characters left that I care about. They've killed off most of the ones that I cared about, and the new ones they've introduced, I don't care about.
I loved Glenn. I was going to say it.
Rick, hands down, one of my favorite characters in any geek medium. But other than that, there aren't a whole lot of characters in the show that I care about.
You know what's kind of like a weird parallel for me?
And Rick can never die, so I mean, there's the thing. He's not dead in the comics yet. And
it's true. I like to compare to The Walking Dead as the iPhone. As something that started out as something really awesome, something really new and fresh, spawned a lot of great things, but in the end is not doing anything revolutionary anymore. It seems just to be banking off on its own previous success.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's
true.
And I look at that now, and I was definitely interested in watching. Actually, the most portions that I watched were the first 3 seasons. And the only reason why I didn't actually sit down and really dive deep into the whole universe with Walking Dead was because I didn't see... there wasn't something that was grabbing me that said, you need to see this to the end. You know, there was never a plot that came in was like, I need to know how this unfolds. You know? And so they were close, but they missed the mark on that from the beginning. And, well, I wouldn't say that from the beginning. After their first... direction failed,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to like when you change the direction of the show, you have to give a good reason for it.
Yeah.
And you can only do that so many times. And that's literally the whole thing of Walking Dead, is that its direction and goal always changes. Every time I pop into Walking Dead, it's the joke for me is always, oh, what are they doing now? What's the
same
thing?
thing
Oh,
they
so
did
they're
last
here now.
season.
Yeah,
It
how long
could
have they
be
been?
better. It could be better, but one of the things they struggle with is they struggle with dealing with their own created characters.
Yeah.
Daryl, they won't kill Daryl. Like, you guys are never gonna riot. They're never gonna kill Daryl.
Yeah.
They're not going to. That and Carol, I don't care about Carol. All right.
I really didn't like her for a while.
Carol existed in the comic books, but comparing the comic books to the show, she wouldn't have lasted past the first season. At this point, she is a completely different character. She's all whatever. She's AMC's creation. I don't care about Carol. I don't care about Daryl.
Do you care about Michonne?
Not really. Not really. I don't really care about Michonne. I'm starting to care about Morgan, especially now that he's done with that whole stupid "I hate violence" thing. I thought that was dumb.
What about Maggie? I think Maggie's...
I like Maggie.
She's okay.
I like Maggie, but
She was a lot better with Glenn, though.
She's a lot better with Glenn, and I think they've kind of thrown this like new leadership aspect onto her too quickly.
Yeah, it seemed like it was
I
far-fetched.
like I like Maggie. I'm starting to care about Morgan. Rick's the bee's knees. One thing though is they won't. Rick will die eventually, because Robert Kirkman has come out and said that he has an ending in mind for Rick. But Rick is nowhere near a death on the show because he's still alive in the comics.
Especially if you watch the new season.
And that's something they don't mess with is Rick hasn't died in the comic books yet, so he's nowhere near close to dying on the show.
That must be really rough on the actor, though, because he doesn't really see an end in sight. He must be like feeling really tired.
No, he's come out and said, "Oh, you mean
the actor?" Yeah,
he's come out and said he's like, "Oh yeah, I see an ending for Rick." They
Okay.
just don't know when it's gonna be.
Robert
Kirkman has planned out this whole thing. Like, he already knows what the ending of the story is gonna be, but it's a couple of years out.
I honestly thought that season 8 was going to be the last season because this felt like it was a good one to end on because they have such a great villain, Negan. Honestly, Negan is probably one of the characters that I really enjoy watching. I know he's a terrible guy.
Wait until you see him become a good guy.
Little spoiler alert. I thought you said we weren't going to spoil
I'm not going to spoil the ending, where they're at right now, because that's also that happened a little while ago.
He's such a good villain.
Negan, we're past Negan almost.
I think Negan's I think he brought a little bit of what's the word? Rejuvenation to the show.
I was going to bring that up myself if you guys didn't already. Was how I feel like he definitely brought some new
in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
However,
well, most of us have been waiting for him to show up on the show because he's arguably one of the most popular characters in the comics.
Yeah.
I think
so we've just been waiting for it.
It's interesting when the bad guy is the character that you really, really want to see on the show.
It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. How can you not?
Well, I didn't really know who he was before that, though.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think I saw him a little bit on
He's the dad on Supernatural.
Yeah.
He's the comedian in Watchmen.
Haven't seen him.
He's Bruce Wayne. He's Thomas Wayne.
He's dead.
And no, but so cool thing for
Flashpoint.
Yes,
Flashpoint.
he can be Batman. All right, and they better capitalize on that. I'm telling you what, right now, DC.
Wesley has
don't
spoken.
Disappoint me. Wesley has spoken.
He's your biggest fanboy, so you have to
I am
listen
your
to
biggest
him.
fan. You need to please me.
Jeez. Yeah, but he's definitely a really good character.
Yeah.
And I love watching him. And I think that's the same thing that happened with Jessica Jones. I didn't really care for any of the characters, but I really appreciated watching the villain because he was very, very good.
You're just saying that because it's David Tennant.
Not just that, but because he was very interesting and because
Doctor Who.
David Tennant did a very good job at making this guy interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to The Walking Dead it feels like it's just gotten into a loop, but a watered down,
they can break out of it.
They certainly can.
So
I just feel
there
like they
are
should
some.
end, though.
There are. It's not. No.
I think
I don't
they
think
need
it
to
should
end on some sort of high note. Like I was saying,
I don't
they
think
have a great villain, and they showed the future of Rick being an old man, whatever. I think that It'd just be a great way to go, though.
Because the way they depict Old Man Rick is exactly the way that Old Man Rick looks in the comics, so that was cool. But we have some exciting events coming up, at least if we're following comic book continuity.
Yeah.
So, if they do it right and don't just like loop the season like they normally do.
They've been looping for the last 8 seasons, though.
Things could potentially be coming to a big change. We'll see.
What was your favorite season out of the entire show so far? Because all the stuff with Alexandria is okay, but it's not like it wasn't amazing. I think
honestly, I really people are gonna disagree with me on this, but I really liked season 2.
Ha!
I really liked it was different. Like
yeah.
And it still had like Shane's an ass, but I liked like he was a good character.
I think that was a changing point for a lot of the characters.
Yeah, and back in earlier in the show, I cared about a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
Like when Dale died, that ruined me.
That was rough. I felt like he was like
Dale.
the moral compass of the group for a while in season 2.
Characters, the characters just don't have an identity right now anymore. Like
they really don't. Even the new characters, I don't feel like I'm attached to any of them.
Tyrese was one of the newer characters that I cared about, and he didn't last nearly long enough.
He was too nice of a guy. That's the thing in shows nowadays. If you're a really nice guy or a girl in a TV show, you're gonna die. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I really appreciate
The nice guys finish first.
if by finishing first you mean dying first.
We finished last.
No, but it was because they get finished first because they die.
Yeah, they get finished off.
That's
first.
why I'm like, good guys.
Including Glenn. Glenn was like a very, very good character, but they were just like, no,
Glenn,
you like him? That's
I
nice. We're gonna kill him.
I loved Glenn. I cared about Glenn, but Glenn's death is one of the most famous points in the comic book. So it's like I cared so much about Glenn, but I saw his death coming from miles and miles away.
It's not fair.
No,
I really like.
There was so many moments where he could have died as well. I remember that too.
Oh my goodness!
Because they had to tease you along the way.
Yeah, but they even had.
He was even like presumed dead.
It was in season 4 too. Like when they hit the tower at the prison with a grenade launcher, or was it? It wasn't a grenade launcher. It was the tank. He was in a tower, right? And a tank shoots it and it explodes. And he's fine. He's okay. But we all thought, oh yeah, I guess he's dead now. No. And then there's the whole scene with the dumpster and like you see something being ripped apart and you think that it's him. No, it's just another guy on top of him. It felt like a lot of cop-outs and then they finally killed him and then you're like, oh, he's not really dead, is he? But no, you literally see him. His head is split open. His eyeballs popping out.
Yeah,
and he dead. I'm sorry, people, but he dead. I really liked season 3, though. I felt like that was also a big turning point, too, because, again, Carl had a lot of development. He was a much more mature character. Rick's wife died, and I was like, yay, I guess.
Yeah,
I didn't like her either.
Nobody cared about Lori either.
But that was also a turning point for him, because he started to go a little bit mental at that point. And then they actually had an actual villain, not just the walkers. Like, they had the governor, and he was an interesting character. I felt like originally you're like, oh, I guess he's not that bad, but then you see that he has a darker motive, and he's also a little bit nuts too. And then they brought Merle back, and it was just like Daryl becoming a better character, and Carol actually not being such a wimp in the other 2 seasons. Like I think that was there's a lot of growth in season 3. So I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, my biggest issue is the characters.
Doesn't mean we're gonna stop watching though.
No, I'll be watching
you got
until
me
it's
hooked,
over.
AMC. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop watching anytime, so it's not like my complaining really means much.
I need to know how to survive for as long as I can in the apocalypse.
Yeah. But it's just like you have the relationship between Shane and Rick. You have Daryl. Like I don't know. It's just like these are the characters you're all first introduced to, and they fail to introduce new meaningful characters often enough where you continually have people that you care about.
I do kind of like Ezekiel in the new season, though. I think he's somewhat enjoyable to watch.
Oh, he dies, though.
Dude! Why would you tell me that? Well, you said no spoilers! Gosh darn it! You are a monster!
But you don't know when, though.
But now I know! Thanks a lot. Who's next? Who's gonna die next?
Oh,
Carl?
actually,
Don't
man.
answer that.
No, Carl's still alive.
Jeez, I don't want to know anything.
Yeah, Carl's still alive.
I want to be like Harry Osborn. Don't tell me anything.
Don't tell Harry.
Don't tell Harry.
Don't tell Alex.
Yeah. Unless it's something important, in which case tell me.
That is important.
You know what is important?
What?
Cosplay World Magazine.
They are important.
Yes,
They
'cause
are
they are a
indeed, because they're our
sponsor.
sponsor.
Cosplay World Magazine is a monthly internationally published cosplay magazine that launches on the 1st of every month. It was created for cosplayers by cosplayers. They are big on crediting everyone who helped bring a cosplay to life, from the creation process to the photography process, all the way to the finished polished images. Inside, you will find 40 high-quality pages including exclusive interviews with your favorite creators, artists, geeky fashion, makeup, and photography tutorials. You can check them out on any of their social media outlets at Cosplay World Magazine, or for more on how to submit your cosplay to photo... or for more for how to submit your cosplay to get your photography published, visit their website at cosplayworldmagazine.com/submit.
I thought I was like, I wonder how committed he is to the ad read, because I'm just gonna like try to flip his hair for him and see what happens.
For the people who are listening to the podcast, Wesley just stroked William's hair.
I reached across the table and like,
You tried.
I tried, and he was like, "Don't touch this.
Don't touch my mane.
just go Super
I've been
Saiyan.
growing it out.
All right. Well, I'm going to flip Gary because I remember Gary.
Good
Yeah,
for you for remembering
whatever.
Gary the Time Goblin.
What you got for us today?"
What you got? What you got?
Speaking of hair, I would like to talk about Harry Potter.
Oh boy.
That transition.
This isn't what you told me you were talking about.
No, I'm going to work on that. Well, I'm not going to talk about
Okay.
what that is. I need to actually work on that. That's really important.
All right.
Launch.
So
do you wanna work
exciting
on?
things. No, don't spoil it. Just
Okay.
Spoilers.
exciting things coming from William in the future. Anyway, Harry Potter.
Yeah, so Harry Potter, when I talk about specifically about Harry Potter, well, first off, I like to think of Harry Potter as like a holiday movie. I don't know about you, but my family just love watching
Are you talking
I'm
about
telling you what.
Halloween and Christmas, or just like Christmas, or
I'll tell you what. We better be watching Harry Potter soon.
Yeah.
As like a household family.
do you guys
I
think
think-
the fourth one is a Christmas movie?
I don't care.
No,
Harry Potter is like this from like October to December kind of.
Well, because like it would make sense to watch it for Halloween, but for some reason, I think Halloween tends to pander to other movies.
Yeah.
Whereas
Well,
for some
scary
reason,
movies, and
Yeah.
Harry Potter
I'm
isn't
there.
exactly.
I'm there with you though. I know why. It just
It would make
Harry
sense.
Potter
if it-
feels like a seasonal.
Well, they have all
movie.
like the
Okay.
they talk about all like the pumpkin beer and all these things. And
Yeah.
Even my
Well,
my Dobby the Elf shirt. It has like snowflakes on it. Like it's clearly a seasonal like.
We also had a party at your house, your mom's house.
All Harry
like
Potter
a Harry
themed.
Potter
Oh yeah,
party.
that's
in
something we
October,
all look forward
which
to
was
every
wicked.
year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What was it? Did we have butterbeer?
We had butterbeer.
That was
Fantastic
delicious.
job, Mom.
Played Quidditch.
I-
Some of us played Quidditch.
We did play Quidditch, and it was very difficult to run
was
around
dark.
with a broom between your legs.
Yeah,
It's not easy.
it's as awkward as it sounds.
It was very awkward. And it was in the dark too, so
Yeah.
fantastic.
Sorry, Willem. Continue.
I'm bummed. I wanted to wear my Gryffindor shirt because Gryffindor pride.
Ravenclaw.
It's okay. People
Ravenclaw.
listen to the podcast, so they can't exactly see your shirt.
Just for the record, William is Gryffindor. Obviously, Alex is
I'm a
Hufflepuff.
hoofoo poof.
I'm Ravenclaw.
See, that's why we have such a good dynamic.
Yeah.
Is because we're all different Harry Potter houses.
And we
Oh,
haven't
that's-
invited
that's the
any
reason.
Slytherin. You know why? Because they're mean.
We ain't let no Slytherin slither up in here. And,
I wanted to make a joke about that.
I feel very
Anywho.
uncomfortable right now.
So we're all huge fans of Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. It's one of my first nerdy loves.
It's one of my
latecomer.
newer nerdy loves.
I'm a latecomer to Harry
Really?
I
Potter.
was very late.
I hadn't seen any of the Harry Potter movies until last year.
Really?
Yep.
I remember watching the first and second ones as they were coming out on VHS, people, not DVD.
Whoa!
I was not allowed to watch the third one when it came out because my mom deemed it just a little bit too scary for me. However, by the time the fourth one came out, I was allowed to watch the third one and then the fourth one therefore after, so I wasn't too far behind
Yeah,
anything like that.
yeah.
And then the fifth one on, I actually watched in theaters. because by that time I was like a teenager.
Was the third one the first PG-13 one, or was that the fourth
Yes.
one?
Yes. No.
The
it was
first
third one.
two had a noticeably different tone than the rest of the
It
series.
was different directors too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well, there's a
understand.
lot
And
of
also it
reasons.
was a different Dumbledore,
Yeah.
so that might have been part of it.
It's cool to see the characters take that journey, though.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, it
because
felt
they're
great.
Yeah.
what I love about Harry Potter is that a lot of shows are doing this nowadays, where it sets up a nice, happy premise and atmosphere. In this case of Harry Potter, Hogwarts. And
create something for you to care
yes, it
Get
creates
to go to an interesting school. That's
exactly.
surprising.
You do all these little mini adventures that seems, I mean, in the like
Adventures.
yeah, in the like grand scheme of things, like not exactly important, but it's important for a character building and the world building. And then that overall builds a better atmosphere and a reason to care for it so much more. And things like that also help really build up the fandom because you nerd out about all those little details.
They
and
immerse
everything
you in the
about-
world and the
yeah,
culture.
I
That's
mean,
great.
think about like Harry Potter does something that very few things are like that are able to do, which is like getting this things where you feel like you belong. Everyone wants their own Harry Potter house. You know, which team are you on, and all this kind of stuff.
You've got red on, I've got blue on.
Yeah,
We did good.
Yeah.
We did
I don't
good.
have any. Oh, I have yellow on my notebook, so I'm good.
I'm just going to hold that up in front of you the whole time, for the rest of the podcast.
I got yellow people.
Yeah, so Harry Potter does a great job with that, and then obviously about the third movie,
Yep.
things get real.
What's your favorite one? Most people, it's Prisoner of Azkaban.
I really like the fourth one.
It
I know
used-
people hate
It
because
used to be the fourth one. I think as of
What's the
later,
fourth
it's
one?
been the third one.
it's a Goblet of Fire.
Goblet of Fire is my favorite,
I
actually.
felt like it was a very
I
Hunger
love
Games-esque sort of, like it was the tournament. I really
That-
appreciated that.
That, and I love the Voldemort reveal at the end.
Yes.
I'm just like, whoa!
Yep.
It felt like stuff was really going down in that one.
Yeah,
because
you
he's
killed the
actually
vampire guy!
bad. Okay, so here's the thing. I saw Twilight before I saw the Harry Potter movies.
I did too.
because-
You saw Twilight?
Okay, my sister.
Okay,
and
yeah,
no,
for the record, I've never
I have-
seen Twilight.
I have
I've
not
seen
either.
bits and pieces of it.
My sister and her friend wanted to watch the movies, see what they were about. So I was like, okay, I
Yeah,
guess I'll watch
No,
two.
that's just what they told you. They're
Yes.
girls. They wanted to watch the movies.
Dude, they're not like that. They're better
That's
than
what you
that.
say, but they watched them
They're
and
better
they
than
roped
that.
you into it.
Don't try and tarnish my sister.
I'm not. I
Put
love
a
your
spell
family.
on you.
I love
Ugh.
Alex has a wonderful family.
Yeah.
Even though his sister teases me
But-
incessantly when we were younger.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. But yeah, I watched the first two Twilight movies, and then I went and saw Harry Potter because my parents didn't want me to watch Harry Potter.
My
They-
parents also
it
did
was
not
the
want me to
whole-
watch Harry
It was
Potter.
the magic sort of
Yep.
thing.
That's why I was a late comer.
But once... This is my version of rebelling. Once I turned 18, I was like, all right, I'm going to be so different. I'm going to go over to my neighbor's house, which was Will's house, and I'm going to watch all the Harry Potter movies.
I'm gonna be so rebellious. I'm gonna go over next door
and I'm going to
and
watch it. I'm
watch
going to like it.
Harry Potter with my friends I've known forever
And
I
I
can-
enjoyed it.
and drink water.
I can imagine half the people.
What?
I don't know.
I can
No,
imagine half.
I ate candy.
Oh boy.
I can imagine.
Before dinner.
Yeah.
I ate jelly beans.
I can imagine half the people listening just being like face palming, just like, oh man.
I'm an adult, yo, so I'm going to go watch Harry Potter.
Yeah. One thing that's also
a good time.
underrated about Harry Potter as far as how they build the movie and its plot and everything is that within the first 5 minutes, you have the main character, reason to care for him, and main villain, and the whole mystery behind everything with that. So
Did they have the main villain in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, they
You at least know about him.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They set that all up very early in the first movie. They make it very clear. Here's your main character. Here's why you should care about him, and here's the objective.
Just for a minute, have you considered, like, Harry Potter to me seems to be like the last big franchise has that many movies in it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure there's more out there.
Can you think of a movie franchise that is newer than Harry Potter that has 7 movies and they were all planned?
Does Marvel count? Not really.
No, Marvel doesn't count.
Okay.
It's because I'm talking like
They've
franchises.
had other teen movie franchises, but they haven't really worked out because there was the Divergent series,
Yeah.
and I think that just petered out. They had 3
Same with
movies, and then
the
they
Maze
were
Runner. And,
no, the Maze Runner is actually going to finish, but
Oh.
they have changed it so much that it's not anything like the original books.
I don't read books.
I did read the books, and the first movie was pretty good. The second one, I didn't even watch it because it seemed like they were just changing it so much. And then I watched the trailer for the third Maze Runner movie, which is coming out next year, and it looked like a heist movie, which is not what the book was at all.
But
yeah.
Harry Potter though.
Harry Potter.
But yeah, they do some amazing things in Harry Potter, like just along the lines of movies in general. Also, Harry Potter the movies is, in my opinion, one of the best movie adaptations of books. Does a fantastic job. Yes, of course, the books have more details. You learn a little bit more inside the head, but that's every single book, and you realize that movies can't do that, and movies have different limitations, especially with time. You have to give Harry Potter credit for what they were able to accomplish with 8 movies.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, because originally I actually watched the movies before I read the books. I know a lot of people are just going to go like, "What?"
I still haven't read the books.
I did it simultaneously, actually.
The thing is that I wanted to be able to appreciate the movies. So I watched the movies and I was like, "Oh, those are really good." And then I got to go to the books and be like, "Oh my goodness, there's so much more that I get to enjoy."
So you didn't feel disappointed by the movies.
Yeah, I didn't have to be like, "Oh, the books are great. Oh, they got all the stuff wrong in the movies." But no, I was able to enjoy all of it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so obviously, not totally new. Last year, Fantastic Beasts came out.
Yeah, how'd you feel about that?
That's what we're going to talk about.
I watched it.
I wanted to set the premise of the things that I think make Harry Potter great and that we will love about it, which is a lot of it.
Because Fantastic Beasts is a completely new premise, isn't it?
Yeah,
no book for
so going into it, it's hard. We haven't had Harry Potter in a long time. We haven't had anything new in Harry Potter in a long time. And
it's not even a book.
It's really
per
exciting
se.
because it's weird because unlike Star Wars, where we're continuing the same story, we're starting from a completely different point.
It's a prequel
Totally
series.
new characters, and we're in the same universe but completely different space. And
Yeah, because it's in America this time.
Yep. So they do make a lot of homages to Harry Potter, but strangely enough, one thing that they I've never said about any other movie is that I feel like they didn't make enough call-outs to its original stem. I felt like I think it's probably due to the fact that it's in America, not England, which is weird because we associate so much of Harry Potter with
They're trying to
England.
make a very new version of the magical world.
I think they're getting there though, William, because they've cast Dumbledore, so we're gonna see Dumbledore. Grindelwald is a huge part of the Harry Potter mythos. Like huge.
Yeah.
Like before Voldemort came on the scene, that was the greatest evil they had ever
Johnny
experienced.
Depp
We could
is
talk
playing
about things that have yet to come, but I'm just talking the movie as it is right now.
I only
And
saw the
what we
movie
have-
once.
and what we have available to us. And I had a harder. It's not that it wasn't enjoyable. I had a harder time putting this next to the other Harry Potter movies because it almost felt like it was the same but different. Same, like I couldn't figure it was really mind-boggling trying to like when I was done with that movie I wanted to like, okay, where do you put it with the other Harry Potter movies? And I was like, I don't know. It's like it felt like trying to compare like putting like the Maze Runner next to Hunger Games. Like they're similar, but they definitely are two different things. And this, even though it's from the same universe, felt like similar but two different things,
Right.
you know.
They seem to have so with Star Wars, they had a specific place basically for Rogue One. I know it's a spin-off, but it's literally between Episode 3 and Episode 4, so you know where that goes. But with this one, yes, it's not a prequel. It's not. It's kind of a spin-off prequel hybrid.
I guess it's a spin-off. We don't have too many spin-off movies. I guess this would be considered like a spin-off movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's also interesting is that Harry Potter is literally based off of the Harry Potter characters. Like as in like Harry Potter and then his friends. So it's very character focused. This one's not very character focused. In fact, I would argue not very focused at all.
It was mostly focused on the world building.
Yes.
And that
Well,
was it. The thing is,
here's the thing. Yes, they did do a lot of fun stuff. And here's the thing. If you, I was a Harry Potter fan. I enjoy this movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just kind of weird. And I thought it was a good movie. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I really enjoyed this movie, and I thought it was a great movie. However, putting it next to Harry Potter was just kind of... That's where all the lines become blurred, because I don't know what to do with it. And I'll tell you what, tell you why. Because with Harry Potter, when I mentioned about the first 5 minutes and all the stuff that they do, and those things that you don't even think about that much, but they set a very clear, this is what Harry Potter is, this is what we're doing, strap in, we're going for a ride. This, we don't have any of that. It's not until the second half of the movie where we actually get a clear cut of why we are watching this movie in the first place.
Besides watching it because of Harry Potter.
Right. And see, that's the thing, is that if you weren't a fan of Harry Potter and you were watching Fantastic Beasts as your first Harry Potter movie, which I don't know how that'd be possible.
Don't do that.
There's people out there that I'm sure that is, but I guarantee you the first half of the movie would bore them, because the only reason why that didn't really affect us is because we were too busy looking at all of the things Harry Potter related and being all excited about all these new characters and all the things Harry Potter. And by the time we start to think, wait, where's this movie going? That's when everything kicked in.
It didn't have a clear focus.
No, not at all.
The way they're connected, though, right, is because Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is a textbook that Harry Potter had to read for school.
But that was it.
Isn't that how it's connected?
A lot of times, spin-offs will have characters from the movies to be in that thing, so that you know, like, okay, so there's this character, and it's bringing up this.
This was something that was only vaguely mentioned.
The only characters are Newt Scamander, and all we hear about, like, we just hear about him in the books and in the movies. The only character that we've even seen a glimpse of is Grindelwald, and that's only in a flashback, basically.
Yeah.
Other than that, it doesn't feel like there's any clear...
Well, and you see him at the end because, Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and also at the beginning, but technically you see him throughout.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, like you said, it didn't seem like they had a very clear idea of where they were going in the story.
You're right, though. Off of what we have to work with, it's weird. But I'm super excited for where it's going. Because I'm excited to see young Dumbledore.
It can definitely redeem itself as a series, but as a movie, it definitely lacked a lot, and is only doing okay because of the massive amount of infrastructure that's already built around it. If Fantastic Beasts was a standalone movie and Harry Potter did not exist, that would be a very... I
wouldn't have enjoyed it.
That would have gone on. That movie would have gone under the radar. I don't think you would have gone to see it, honestly, because
that's the problem with spin-off movies, is that they are exactly that. They're spin-off movies. They are basically the only reason that they are there are because of the originals, and most of the people.
But
will only
Rogue
go
One,
see
though.
See, and that's
the ultimate spin-off movie.
That's what I was going to bring
Still
up.
a little bit like that, though. Like yes, it's entertaining, but it hinges a lot on you having seen the other movies. Without that, you don't really know.
I think that
although
regardless,
Rogue One can be your first Star Wars movie.
It does a lot better.
That can be the first Star Wars movie you watch.
It does a lot better than Fantastic Beasts because there's clear motive and there's characters that they show you. You understand what they're going through and you understand where they're going and what they have to do. Fantastic Beasts, it doesn't. It feels like it's a playful movie up until a certain point, and then it's like, okay, you got to deal with this.
Yeah, the stakes are very high in that movie either. And
there's like a guy who's having a tantrum.
They were too busy keeping everything mysterious, but the problem was everything mysterious was about the main characters, so it kind of made you hard to get really attached to them. Like, I really wanted to like Newt, and I think it's a really cool character, but as far as like sentimental wise, I don't really care about him a lot.
Very quiet character.
Like, I'm glad, he has a cool mission. That's cool. I'm glad he's doing all right with his stuff.
Yeah. But with Harry Potter, you understood where he was coming from.
I care about Newt just as much as I did Neville before the last movie.
I don't know. I really like Neville.
No. Before the last movie.
I might do a Neville. I might do a Neville cosplay.
No.
Neville
was okay during the first few movies, but he got so much better in
the Almost Hero.
Order of the Phoenix. Like, you understood where he was coming from, and it was fantastic. So it wasn't just the last movie that made Neville great.
What is that about that he could have been the hero? What's all that about?
He was born. So the prophecy was about. Like a child that was born around a certain time of year, and their parents were gonna get killed off, and they would be an orphan or something like that, and they'd be very powerful.
Fit all the criteria.
Yeah, he fit the criteria basically.
Oh, okay.
It's not. I don't think that there's any. I don't think that that's correct at all. But still, Neville's still a great character, and I don't think that he was just fantastic in the last movie. I think that he He was a great back he was an underdog.
Alex
basically.
relates to the underdog.
I like Neville Longbottom. I think he's fantastic.
Neville Longbottom.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird when you say it like that.
I just think that regardless spin-off or sequential movie, every movie should be good as a standalone movie. You should be able to watch it on its own. Obviously, there's going to be parts that you don't enjoy as much, but every movie should be enjoyable to anyone on its own.
We'd have so many less movies if people were just making good movies.
And yeah, and
Think of all the Disney sequels that we wouldn't have.
Yep, like all the Cars sequels.
All the car sequels that we didn't ask for, aka all
Yep.
of them.
I've
Maybe
still
or-
only seen the first one.
no,
Good for you.
I'm sorry, I like you, Ellen, but no one else was asking for Finding Dory.
No, not really.
Yeah, no. We've all been asking for Incredibles 2.
And where's that, huh? I don't think it's coming out until next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
I'm like, oh,
We're so close, though.
I know. I was a wee child when the first one came out.
But, yeah. So, Harry Potter, one of my favorite series. I definitely will still watch everything that comes out from Harry Potter in the theaters.
Yeah, because we have to, right?
I'll go.
They've got us hooked on all that stuff.
Oh yeah. No, they would have to do some serious messing up for me not want to see their
Yeah.
stuff.
Marvel,
being-
Harry Potter, Star Wars, DC, they've got us hooked. We're screwed. All our money's gone. We got nothing left. Shut up and take my money.
And I want to see this stuff succeed, but honestly, I feel like Harry Potter was... It's kind of hard because Harry Potter is just such a massive hit right now. It's kind of hard to break it down to what makes Harry Potter successful. And I think that part of that is all that it did to set up Harry Potter did so much to set it up in the first movie for all of this success, giving you that clear vision, the clear good guys and bad guys, and motives, and then expanding upon that, other theories upon their motives on top, stuff like that. But you knew where the series were going. You were along with the main characters on their mission for doing this. Obviously, you're allowed to have tons of tangents on the way there, but having that one thing that's keeping you in the long haul is very important. And that can be a span of 8 movies, or that can be a span of just one movie. And when you have a movie like Fantastic Beasts, who failed to set everything up, it makes me sad because I feel like they were lazy with it, you know? Coming from such a just a masterfully created series, you know, probably mostly due to J.K. Rowling, honestly, and not the people who made the movies. But J.K. Rowling also wrote Fantastic Beasts, so I don't know where the disconnect actually is, if it's just Fantastic Beasts as a source material isn't as good as Harry Potter series.
I think that might be what it is. Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think Fantastic Beasts is a little bit harder to work with than the series, but at the same time, I feel like the movie adaptation could have been formatted a lot.
We don't have a strong connection to the school anymore.
Yeah, here's the thing, is that one of the strongest parts of Harry Potter is the characters. Like, they set up all the characters, and as kids, if you're watching the movies, you relate to the characters like, oh, I want to be like this one, or I'm like this one. And you get to grow with those characters. Like, you have such a strong connection to them. But with Fantastic Beasts, you don't have it with any of them.
No.
There's none of them, like, some of them are interesting.
Yeah.
But that's
And
pretty
guess
much
what?
it.
My favorite character,
Was the
spoilers.
Muggle? Was it the Muggle?
Yes.
I like the Muggle.
And you're not going to see him, like, I
don't remember his name.
think so. You're not
Oh,
gonna
he's
see him.
awesome,
The
actually.
chubby guy.
Yeah,
What's his name?
and he's not going to be in the next things because
None of
stuff
them are, I
happened
think.
at the end. And sadness. That was the one
You
part
don't think
that
they
I
won't
cared-
involve him again? Rope him in
They
again?
could.
For what?
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
be
they
hon-
might not.
I don't
yeah.
know the source
I
material.
forgot. I remember.
I don't know the source material.
I don't.
I hope
There's
they
not really
involve-
any source
I
material.
hope they
for
involve
this.
the American schools, though. That'd be cool. I'm a
What is the
wampus.
name?
I'm a wampus.
What is the name of the
yeah.
American school?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
everybody can Google it. That's
I don't know if they should go on the American schools, kind of take some of what made Harry Potter great and kind of use that to boost them into doing something different.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they did with the Star Wars 7 movie, where they took a lot of the original formula from Star Wars
gonna say.
and they used that to kind of.
Force Awakens is basically copy paste Episode 4.
Didn't need
Yeah.
another
But
Death
it's
Star.
awesome.
But it's awesome.
Neither the
Yes,
Death
I don't-
Planet.
Yeah, just because it's very similar and it has a lot of parallels to the fourth movie. doesn't make it any less.
No,
awesome.
it was still awesome.
They
Yeah.
still
I
set
still
up
love Force
good.
Awakens.
I know we keep coming back to Star Wars, but they set up new characters that you got invested in,
Yeah.
and it also brought back the old
Absolutely.
characters. So they were. It was a handing of the torch, basically. There's no handing of the torch with Fantastic Beasts and Harry Potter.
Yeah,
There's
no, that's
nothing
a good point.
like that.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's
All
a
right.
bummer. I'm still gonna go see it though. I still have only
Absolutely.
seen Fantastic Beasts once, and that was in theaters. So I
I'll probably-
kind of want to see it again now.
I think it being the season for Harry Potter, I'll definitely probably watch it
yeah.
again sometime. I know my family has it on DVD.
I've
with
got
them.
2 of the movies on DVD, but you and I are gonna be. Me and Wesley are probably going to be watching a lot of 80s movies during the month of
We've
November.
decided that November is going to be 80s movies month.
Goonies. Is Goonies an 80s movie? No, it's a 90s movie. There's no way that's an 80s movie.
No, it's a. Hold on.
Hold on.
I think it might be an 80s movie.
Just a second.
We've got smartphones.
I don't. No,
I feel like it is, because Sean...
1985.
How?
We're watching
Shoot.
the Goonies.
Ah, shoot.
Well,
I feel
to be
dumb
fair,
now.
Sean Astin was in the Lord of the Rings movies, and he was like mid to late 20s when that started filming, and that was like the late 90s, so there was no way that he was going to
Okay.
be... Yeah, he's a kid in the Goonies.
Using that new information, I should have made an educated guess that it was in the 80s.
Yeah, you should have.
But yeah. Maybe
Still.
we'll talk about when you maybe when you see the movie, you'll give us a little tidbit of your thoughts about the Goonies from a totally different perspective.
And there you have it. That's been us.
That's been us.
We've
So is that it?
We've been Inconceivable.
We are Inconceivable.
And we will see you next time.
On the next one. We don't have a good outro.
We need an outro. And we will see you on the flip side.
On the
And we will
On the
see you
upside
in the
down.
upside down.
There you go.
Hopefully not,
We'll go
because
with
that's
that.
Inconceivable. 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 Inconceivable.